Hello to Pioneer viewers. As you know, the Russia-Ukraine war is on our agenda. The increasing Ukrainian counterattacks in recent days have caused important developments on the front line. There is a great relationship between the combat capacity of modern armies and technological possibilities that have. Today's armies are powerful technological equipments on the battlefield as a result of great efforts. While these tools make a significant contribution to combat power, they are also very costly in economic terms. In addition, the disposal of expensive combat equipment causes major problems. In wartime, not only firepower but also communication, logistics, and electronic warfare are very important. For this reason, it is necessary to evaluate the parts as a whole. In the aftermath of the attempted invasion of Ukraine, the Russian army continues to use technological weapons and war equipment on the front line. However, in the latest situation, the Russian army is suffering a serious loss of electronic warfare systems. Considering the difficulties brought about by the war economy, it seems quite difficult to compensate for the high losses. When the loss of the combat systems is not compensated, the gains on the front line are lost respectively. Russia's high-value radar systems were destroyed in the attack by the Ukrainian army the other day. The facts that emerged after the Ukrainian attack surprised those who heard them. Let's examine the Ukrainian offensive and the latest developments together. While the Ukrainian army continues its war on the Eastern Front, a news that came in attracted a lot of attention. According to the news, one of Russia's valuable battery radar systems was destroyed by the Ukrainian army. After the news on the subject, a statement was made by the authorities. Colonel Alexander Shtepon, a spokesman for the Travia power group of the Ukrainian army, shared information about the attack in his statements. According to the information shared, the Ukrainian army successfully destroyed Russian Zoopark radar system worth $10 million. Zoopark systems in the Russian army have a very important place. Zoopark systems play a key role in the Russian troops' efforts to find and destroy Ukrainian artillery. For this reason, Zoopark systems made a great contribution to the Russian army, especially on the fronts where artillery units come to the fore. Although artillery units of the Ukrainian army occasionally manage to intercept Zoopark systems, their mass destruction is considered a very important achievement. Zoopark systems were seen on many fronts after Russia's invasion attempt. However, the systems are not widely used in the Russian army because they have a very high cost. According to the reports of independent research companies, 13 Zoopark systems were identified on the battlefield after Russia's invasion attempt. The Ukrainian army's successful offensive took place in the Avdiivka region. There have been bloody clashes in the region since June when Ukraine launched its counteroffensive. The squeeze on the front line in recent days actually summarized the situation in the region for a long time. Russian troops made gains in the Donetsk region, which has an important place for Ukraine in the first days of the invasion attempt. Today, however, Russian troops are losing their gains. The chances of the Russian troops on the front, where the Ukrainian army has formed a serious defense and offensive strategy, are gradually diminishing. According to the assessments of military experts, the possibility of the Russians holding the region has gradually diminished. The Ukrainian army, which wants to take control of the region, continues its intense clashes. The Russian army, which has difficulty in meeting the attacks of the Ukrainian army, is retreating as it suffered great losses. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky gave information about the clashes in his speech last night, stating that the clashes are particularly intense around Avdiivka. Zelensky said that the struggle continues. He stated that the Ukrainian army maintained its position against a large number of Russian soldiers deployed around the region. As we mentioned at the beginning of our article, the Russian army is actively using technological tools of war on the front line. But every day, its expensive equipment is being destroyed by the Ukrainian army. These losses, which cost millions of dollars, show that the situation of the Russian army is not getting better. The reports that have emerged as a result of the Ukrainian army's attacks, which have increased in recent days, show important data. According to the researchers, 10% of Russia's high-tech losses since the beginning of the war have occurred in the last 10 days. The fighting around Avdiivka has intensified in the last 10 days. The clashes have been flaring up since June, when Ukraine started counterattacks. However, Russian troops have reportedly lost 201 equipment and 2,156 units in the last 10 days. Among these losses of Russian troops in the last week, there are 32 tanks, 49 armored combat vehicles, and 10 armored infantry carriers. This situation shows that the conflicts in the region continue in favor of Ukraine. The Avdiivka region is one of the regions that Moscow is trying to seize. The region has become a new target of the Russian expansionism since 2014, when Putin illegally annexed the southern Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine. Starting on October 10, Moscow forces launched their largest offensive in months to capture Avdiivka, bringing thousands of troops, tanks, and armored vehicles to the area. Local sources report a strong buildup of Russian troops in the area. However, Ukrainian military intelligence is conducting operations to disturb Russian activities. The Russian tanks destroyed the other day were the result of a successful intelligence operation. Ukrainian intelligence wants to secure the region by monitoring the movements of the Russian troops. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine also announced that the other day, 20 Russian attacks were prevented in one day. The Ukrainian army's strong stance and defense position is causing Russian troops to lose motivation. The Ukrainian army, which has been building fortifications in the region for a long time, is preventing Russian attacks. Andrei Yusuf, spokesman for the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's Intelligence Directorate, said that Avdiivka is of strategic importance. Yusuf described the invasion attempt by Russian troops as an attempt to increase tension in the region. Stating that Moscow's plan have failed, Yusuf said that the Kremlin is very tense because of this. Ukrainian President Zelensky described the situation in Avdiivka as difficult, but he said that every day we need strength for Ukraine to withstand Russian aggression, to eliminate the invaders, and to move forward. The Ukrainian leader said that every day they will go further than the previous one, whether it is a kilometer or 500 meters. We will definitely go forward. According to the information we have received from local sources, new reinforcements are being added every day to the Russian troops that have failed in the region. But these reinforcements are having trouble adapting to the clashes in the region. The Ukrainian army, on the other hand, continues to defend its territory without giving the Russian troops a chance to recover. What do you think about the expensive Russian systems destroyed by the Ukrainian army? How do you interpret the Ukrainian army's fight in Avdiivka? How do you think the consequences of the Russian army's costly losses could be? What do you think about the Moscow's failed plans? What do you think will be the outcome of the fighting in Avdiivka? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.